What's up YouTube? Monster Bait here. Today I want to go over a Giants B10, building your team and how to get started in your first Giants B10 team. So I have the standard team here, as you can see on the screen. It's going to be Veramos, Bella, Megan, Darian, and Bernard. So the reason why I picked these units is because one, it's very simple and easy to build this team. It's very easy to skill them all up, and they're going to be very useful throughout the game. It's going to be more than just using these units for just Giants. You're going to use them for Dragons and also for Trial of Ascension, and then later, like Darian, you're going to use him in your Raids and R5 teams. So for some of the stats, we'll start out with those first. Paramos, what you want to do is equip those 6 violent runes that you obtain after you actually fuse the Dark Ifrit. So I will show you that right here in the challenges. In the challenge menu, you go to Fuse Monsters, and with this fusion, after you fuse, you will get 5 star runes and a full set of them. Equip 4 of those to your Veramos and power them up to plus 12. I would suggest doing the slots 2, 4, and 6, just because they're the perfect runes to equip to Veramos, especially for getting ready for the Giants B10. For Veramos and Bella, it's crucial that they stay alive throughout the runs, so you want to make sure that they are 6-star. But for Veramos, for his stats, you want to make sure that the HP is around plus 10,000. If you can do more than that, that's fantastic. If not, then shoot for at least the 10K. For defense, you want to do around plus 500 defense. If you can't hit that, that's still going to be okay, but you're going to be pushing the limits on whether he's going to be able to survive or not, especially if he doesn't cleanse the defense break in time from the Giants boss. And then for speed, you want to get him around to where I have it up around plus 90, but anywhere around plus 90 to plus 100 is the perfect setup for him. And then another crucial stat is accuracy. As you can see here, my accuracy is 50%. You only need 45% for Giants, so then he can make sure that he lands the continuous damage dots on the Giants boss, because that's how you're going to kill the boss with this first team. Your next is going to be Bella. For Bella, easily obtainable every Sunday. Just spam the chat looking for the light Inugami. And then for the light Inugami, you can just farm as many light Inugamis as you can so that you can get the skill ups as well as also obtaining this monster. For the HP, you don't need it as high as I have. Again, do around plus 10,000. The more the better. And then, but the speed, around plus 180 speed is okay. I mean, not plus 180 speed, just making sure overall you have 180 speed is okay. Because Bella's just there for, one, the defense break and to apply to the boss, and then also for the heals. Bella's a great healer, especially early game. And then with that heal, it also increases everybody's attack bar by 30%. So giving your team more turns than also healing your team. Also the accuracy, important. But the accuracy is going to be more important for Dragons later on. But for the accuracy now, just applying that defense break to the Giants boss will just make your runs a lot easier and smoother. And then again, getting those skill ups. The skill ups are very important. So for Feynman, yes, obtaining the skill ups in Feynman. You could run Feynman as many times as you want, and obtaining those red fire Inugamis in order to skill up your Bella, so that you don't have to continuously run and farm the light Inugami. You could just obtain them from your Feynman runs. They don't drop as often, but it's often enough where you're going to be able to skill it up within a couple of days. But skill ups are very important on all of these monsters, and it just makes the runs a lot smoother, makes them hit their continuous damage, and then also their defense break, and makes them rotate their skills a lot more as well. Next, I would say Darian is very important. Just make him as tanky as you can. Besides that, he's just there just to mitigate the damage for the rest of your team. His skill, passive 3, just decreases the damage of all other allies by 20%. So when the boss cleaves during the waves, until you get to the boss, he just reduces all the damage that they take by 20%. So it's really important for him to be on your team, so you can just mitigate and to just help your team progress all the way up to the boss and also survive the boss's damage. The speed, not important, not at all. As long as he just stays alive, that's the most important thing. You don't have to have the stats that I do currently. I just have it like this just because he's currently my R5 tank in my front line. But the defense, I would say anywhere around plus 500 or more is okay. And then HP, just as much as you can get him up. I would say around plus 12,000, just because he has a lower base defense and lower base HP than most 6-star monsters. So yeah, you'll be able to just abuse all the stats that you can, since you don't have to have speed. So you could put the HP percent or defense percent in slot 2, and then also put it for slot 4 and slot 6. So just increase those stats as much as you can, and then he'll be good to go. And then for Megan, I prioritize Megan over Shannon. A lot of people will say do Shannon just because she's a win monster, provides the attack buff and the defense buff, and then also provides the slow onto the boss, which just helps make sure that the boss doesn't get as many turns to hit your units. But Megan, I would say do her just because, one, she could strip with her skill 2, and then with her skill 1, she could provide additional continuous damage effects to the boss to help you kill the boss faster. And then also she does increases your attack bar, but you're also going to use Megan in other parts of the game. She's going to be a part of your first Giants team, and then she's also going to be part of your first Dragons team, which in your Dragons team, for your first one, should be Veramos, Bella, Megan, Sigmars, and Vertiheel, the fire vampire. And that team averages around 2 minutes and 30-second runs, and is also probably the safest team that you could build. But right now we're just focusing on Giants, so I won't go too in depth on that one. And then the reason why people put Bernard in here is just to make sure that your team gets as many turns and they're rotating their skills as much as possible. Just make Bernard as fast as you can. The HP and defense will just come along with it, but the boss probably will never kill him just because he's a win monster, so it's very rare that the boss will crit. And then with Bella healing, then Bernard will just sit there and just use its skill 3 over and over and over again. And it's very easy to obtain the skill ups for Bernard as well. Let me just check real quick. Which scenario that you get them in. I believe it's the Timor Desert. Yes, so the drop info for Timor Desert, you can get the Wind Griffins, and just use those, just farm that as much as you can to get those skill ups until at least Bernard's skill 3 is fully skilled up. So now we'll do a couple runs so I can show you how the team works while they run, and I'll just discuss what's going on throughout the run. So in the beginning of the run, using Veramos to stun the wave so then the rest of your team won't be affected, especially by the crystals on the left and right. Very, very high damage comes out from them, especially because they are neutral in element. So that's why they usually get targeted first as well. But yeah, they do a lot of damage to your team, and then also do, as you can see there, the freeze and the slow on your team. But Veramos, every single turn that he takes, he is going to cleanse a debuff on your team, and it also provides a 3% heal when he does that debuff. But yeah, this is definitely the basic starter team. It's very simple to build, it's easy to use, and it's one of the most reliable teams in the game. But it's going to be around 3 minute runs. Even with the room stat that I have currently, it still takes me about 3 minutes to clear Giants B10. But the better you increase your room quality, the faster it'll get. But I would say once you get to the room quality that I'm at, then you can start doing speed runs and start working on focusing on other units to put on your team. And this team is just about to make it to the final boss. So during this boss stage, obviously you can see Megan there providing that one continuous damage dot, so which is why I prefer her over Shannon. And then Veramos obviously putting down his continuous damage as well, and that's going to be the majority of your damage throughout the run while you're facing against the Giants boss. Darian is going to mitigate all that damage, and then Megan is also going to provide that defense buff for your team. And then Bella is just going to sit there and heal, provide the defense break, and then Bernard also provides the defense break, and is just going to continue to rotate your skills until the boss finally goes down. So once the boss takes its second turn, like it just did there, all those dots go through and just take them down. Really, really simple, really straightforward, very easy. And as you can see, everybody survived, and it's just a very, very standard team. So what I would say in the meantime, while you're trying to build this team, while you're doing the Veramos fusion, while you're getting Bella and Darian on your Sundays, trying to find the light Inigami, trying to find the light Vagabond, so that you can get them at their starter levels, and then also trying to get Megan, trying to get them all 6-starred, getting the rune requirements for them, I would say farm Giants B7. That will give you at least 5-star runes. Look for the Swift runes to put on your Bella, Megan, and Bernard. Get your Bernard as fast as possible. Hit those stat requirements for Bella and Megan. And I mean, farming GB7 for a little while, maybe a couple weeks in order to get those runes is okay. And then also farming the Timor Desert and Feynman for the Bella skill ups for the Inugamis, and then also for the Griffins for Bernard. For Megan, you'll just have to wait until you get the mystical scrolls for the skill ups for her. If you don't want to do that in the meantime, you can build Shannon, but I would say don't 6-star your Shannon if you do happen to do that. Just 5-star it and just beef up its stats as much as you can. But I would still just recommend, if you have Megan, just do Megan. And then for Veramos, you're going to get that 6 5-star set for the violent runes, so you'll be able to already have a violent set for your Veramos as soon as you do that fusion. There's multiple ways that you could replace Veramos if you really don't want to do the Dark Ifrit. I still recommend it just because you can use them in Giants, Dragons, and TOA, but I've seen people use I don't know, something like 2 and 3-star units that provide immunity and heals. I'm not really experienced with those though, so I just won't suggest those at the moment. And then once you get that team settled in and you start farming Giants over and over and over again, you'll probably want to farm Giants for about a month, probably even longer than that. And you're going to farm Giants for the rest of the time you play the game, but so then you could start creating your speed teams. I would say start fusing Sigmaris. That's going to be the blue Phoenix, the water Phoenix. You're going to use Sigmaris in Giants for speed runs, and then also in Dragons for your first Dragons team. So this is the second team that you should start working on once you have that first team taken care of. The reason why I took up Bernard is because once you get Bella, Megan, and Veramos up to those speed requirements, then you can start taking out the Bernard and then put in Sigmaris. Because the team will be fast enough to take care of itself now. I put Sigmaris as a lead and took out Veramos as a leader because Sigmaris' leader skill actually gives it 44% HP lead instead of Veramos with the 33% HP lead. But Sigmaris is specifically for dungeons, so just be aware of that. For Sigmaris, for the runes, I would say HP is going to be the hardest stat to try to get for Sigmaris. Sigmaris is going to die a lot, and it's just going to happen. But just getting that attack, crit rate, and crit damage up there as much as possible, so that he can just deal as much damage to the boss before he attacks. That's what you're trying to do in order to create these speed runs. You're just trying to kill the boss as fast as possible. If 1 or 2 of your units die, that's fine, but as long as it gets the job done, just to speed up those runs. So we'll go ahead and get a run started here. Sigmaris is skill 3. I would focus also all of your Delvelmons on your Sigmaris, because Sigmaris is going to be used in Giants and for your Dragons team at this time, and the more damage that he does is just going to help out your team that much more. Okay, we're coming up on the last wave here. Just going to play this before we get to the Giants boss. So the reason also why I started to pick Megan instead of Shannon is because, well, I guess they both provide that attack buff, but yeah, again, Megan is available and good for Giants and Dragons. Yeah, so as you can see here, the Darien protecting the team with that 20% reduction of damage. Veramos cleansing that defense break that the boss does every turn. And then also Bella there for the heals and the defense break. And then Sigmaris is just going to be pumping out the damage. Unless he gets stunned. So here we go, the boss is killed. The time probably isn't going to be that much faster. So yeah, there you go, 2:13. And our last run was over 3.5 minutes. So killing 1.5 minutes of time almost for those runs, that's definitely going to make your farming a lot more efficient. And this team is also still very safe and effective for your runs. So around 2-minute runs is definitely a big step ahead from that 3.5 minutes from every single run before. Hey everybody, MonsterBait here. Just want to say thank you for coming to watch my video. Please follow me on Twitch. I stream on Sundays and Saturdays from 8 a.m. to 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and also on Tuesdays and Thursdays from 5 p.m. to 9 p.m. You could also catch me on Twitter at MonsterBait5 and also on Facebook, just MonsterBait. I'm also in other Summoners War streams, just talking and chatting. So I hope to see you then. And just live by my motto, every day is a good day. I appreciate it, and thank you.